start this off.
Oh, speak up!
Okay.
Oh, speak up!
No heckling. Okay, no more heckling.
I want to start this off by thanking all my
What's your
supporters.
health
Everyone who
color?
showed up. Thank you very much for coming here. I particularly want to thank Amy for helping me orchestrate this monstrosity that you're about to witness. And Brandy for also helping orchestrate this entire beautiful, beautiful event for Sassafras. For those who only know her brand of fantasy games. So we didn't. By now, the campaign platform has been up for about an hour, and so no one has probably read it.
I read it twice.
Excellent. Unlike several of our opponents, we have laid out very specific plans for what we think we should do in SO0. And I'm not going to talk too much about that right now, but I do want to point out that my opponent,
Sorry.
oh well.
I got ya. Go.
Our opponents will frequently list their positions on specific issues, such as Lincoln, who has come out against villainy, which I'm sure during his day was an important issue, but it is no longer an issue in everyday life. But his campaign never, ever explained anything about what he would do about villainy. Spider has said he is for a strong economy, as though somehow some politician sometime was actually in favor of a weak economy. But he also never decided to say what he might do to build a strong economy. And in our platform, we talk specifically about the SO0 economy and what we can do to support it. Several of our opponents, and I don't even, there's too many of them to name names, have decided that broccoli is an important issue. All I have to say on this issue is that there's really no position worth taking.
Broccoli helps fight cancer.
However, I am going to talk about an issue that I think is important for our future, and that is semi-ring algorithms and finite state transducer learning. So semi-rings.
Finally.
You don't know. A semi-ring is defined as a set of objects, we'll call it K. And so the most familiar objects, a set into binary, a 0 element, a 1 element, into binary, we'll call sum and product.
Wait, what? Inspired.
Now, probably the most familiar semi-ring you might know, we'll call it the probability semi-ring, is the set where the set of all real numbers, union infinity. The 0 element is just an ordinary 0, the 1 element is just an ordinary 1, and the sum of x1. Sum is just ordinary sum, and product is just ordinary product. So what's very interesting is why we want to use these semi-rings is because in finite state transducers and hypergraphs and other sorts of graph algorithms, by changing the set that we use for weights on our graphs, and by changing the binary operations, you can have very, very generic algorithms that do multiple things with just different operations. So for example, with this probability semi-ring, you do normal finite state composition, and then You can use shortest distance algorithm, a standard shortest distance algorithm talked about by Mori, to compute a normalization constant for all the pseudo probability in the finite state transducer or your hyperplan.
Finally!
Somebody tell the truth.
What's more interesting is a sort of more novel, more recent semi-ring that was invented. Is called an expectation semi-ring, and the set of objects that you use in the expectation semi-ring is going to be pairs. They're going to be sets of pairs of positive real numbers, union infinity, sort of like your finite state transducer, your probability semi-ring, and then the second member in the pair is some sort of vector. It's going to be a vector of real numbers, which can often represent, say, features. So if these are sort of counts of features of interest, then when you perform, say this is like the number, each particular item in the vector might be the number of times that you cross a particular arc in a finite state machine. Now when you compose finite state transducers together, this will keep track of how many times you go over each arc in the original finite state transducers. And then you define, well, the zero elements is just a zero vector. And the one element is, or it's zero in the zero vector. And the one element is the pair 1 in the zero vector for the additive and multiplicative identities. And the addition, the sum operator, is just defined as, we're going to call the first thing P, so P1.
Wait, my hand keeps steady. Can't stand still.
It's just the sum.
Like, I could get way close to him.
The sum of both elements of the pair and the product.
Oh, wait.
The first element is going to be a simple product of the two, what we're thinking of as probabilities.
That's
That's the first element in the pair. But the second
What a
one.
great platform.
So American. Just like
is a product of it's P1 times V2, not V1, plus P2 V1.
Isn't he folksy? Don't you feel like you could just like sit down and have a beer with him?
Which if V's are derivatives, and this is just the product rule for derivatives.
How do you want me to stop?
If V's are vectors of counts, and this will aggregate the expected counts as you go through. So what's interesting about this is that this lets finite state transducer. If you do the all pair or you do the shortest distance algorithm that I was talking about earlier, the first argument or the first value in your pair is going to be the normalization constant, just like here. But the second one will be a count of expected values, which you can use for expectation maximization and other sorts of learning algorithms. So I bring this up. These are the issues of the future. Like understanding this.
Yes.
Understanding the future. We need leadership who understands the future. And I mean, we are posed at the edge. I mean, everyday life as we know it is soon to come to an end. And
Thought about everything.
our current administration is not prepared to deal with this. You need leadership who understands these issues.
Yeah! Yeah!
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Damn, this is smooth.
Would you like me to grab you something?
MC Hockey is not an act I want to follow.
I have a very short speech. Some of you may not be aware, hopefully most of you are. The son of King Telamon is being held by the evil Squibs. By December, Squibs will be dead.
What a plan.
Alright, is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
You guys have my vote.
So how do we find out if you won?
I have a question.
What's that?
Will your campaign make everyone good at math?
I'll do my best.
That's
I'm
all
working
you
on
can
it. It's part of
Part of the plan.
He did my physics homework. I mean,
do. My logic class.
I've already spent a good amount of time.
send me your